Okay, so welcome back to episode 13 of Pop My Cherry podcast. This feels like, I feel like we're being audited today, Sean. We have, like the boss is here. It's like get all the BPerfect shit out.
This is our HR meeting.
What?
This is our HR meeting.
This is the HR meeting. So this is like the appraisal episode. So look, we could be very cut. So if there's any makeup brands out there, if you don't see BPerfect here next week, we're looking for a sponsorship.
It's not me you need to worry about. Emma in the background. Marketing manager.
She's sitting in the corner there. Looks like the devil wears Prada. Heavily pregnant. I know we didn't get you a wee mic. No, you're off camera. We'll get you on at some point. We'll get you some point.
Come on, talk about the baby. Yes.
Maybe we could get you in. But look, we're here.
This extend the flow. She'll be over.
Oh, she will be over. She'll not be able to help herself. But look, obviously we have a great relationship. But to anybody that's listening that maybe doesn't know you, I do think that's going to be a surprise. Brendan, BPerfect Brendan, give us a bit of an insight as to who you are.
So I'm Brendan, owner of BPerfect and Voodoo's Hair. Been at it for 12 years. Crazy 12 years, and yeah, that's me. That's who I am.
So then it's I think it's very much like you're definitely like I think you're like a Del boy.
Absolutely.
Like you're a hustler. Like it's very much like you graft, and I think you graft more than like anybody. I find you're kind of, I suppose, how you got into like business very, very interesting. So let's go kind of back to the start. Were you into makeup or what?
No. No, I hadn't a fucking clue about it.
Really?
You allowed to curse in this?
Yeah. Well, we can. Oh Jesus, we're really past the watershed here. So you weren't into makeup. What kind of started that? Or like, let's go back, like childhood, teenage years. Like, what was life like then?
Yeah, I grew up in a small fishing village, Annalong, County Down, and yeah, had the best childhood. Normal 2.4, mummy, daddy, sister, and then I suppose I started hustling, what we call it, whenever I asked for a horse.
Right.
And like we didn't come for money, and my daddy's like, if you want a horse, you have to work for it. And I was 11. So I started working in a fish factory. It was absolutely fucking stinking.
Oh, stop it.
Covered in fish guts, gutting fish. And yes, I got £1.80 an hour and I saved up when I bought a horse.
Did you buy one?
Yeah.
Like a real one?
Twinkle.
Is that what it was called?
Yeah. that's when the gay side was coming out.
That was when I Twinkle.
But we had another one called Tyson.
Oh, right, so that was the bisexual then. Yeah. At that point, it was a wee bit like, is he gay? Isn't he gay? Right, okay, so Twinkle and Tyson. So you bought two horses?
Well, my granda had one called Tyson.
Tyson, right,
yeah.
Okay. So yours was Twinkle?
Yeah.
Of course it was, right. And so tell me, how much was the horse?
Oh, I think it was like £200 or £300, but this is
for
like...
a horse?
Yeah.
Oh, back in the day, though.
That was like 30 years ago.
Fuck.
What's the going rate for a horse nowadays?
I'd imagine a horse would be like...
I was going to buy one recently.
Really?
I was going down this, not spiritual route, but like trying to get off the drink. He's me, I'll buy a horse.
Buy a horse? Oh, wait, I thought you meant maybe you were going into more, maybe like the Grand National, like as in...
No.
Some people do that, don't they? They buy a horse and then they train the horse up and the horse would race. Not like...
That's the way people spend their money now, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
But, right, so you had a horse. Was that to prove a point, do you think, looking back? Like
no,
maybe
I was mad into
you were
horses.
mad,
So my
right.
granda always had horses, and he had like, it's funny when I think back about it, he had like a horse and cart. And he was a fisherman, didn't have much money, and horsey
Yes.
people are all really rich people.
Yes.
And we used to go to these horse shows, and he'd have made his own carts and stuff, and like I would have entered the junior whip, so I'd have been driving with a wee bowler cap and like a homemade cart. And yeah, I was mad, like crazy into horses whenever I was a kid, and then his horses were driving horses, but I wanted a jumping horse.
Right.
So
show jumping?
Yeah.
Right, okay. And did you do horse riding?
I was more like kind of no saddle, running around the estate, kind of.
Oh, right, okay.
Years
On the
ago,
horses.
I always wanted to like run away with the circus and look after horses.
Really?
As a kid, yeah.
That is so... I actually did not know. That's so random. But then with the work ethic thing, so from a very young age, you very much were like taught the value, I suppose, of money.
Yeah, like I picked spuds before that, like even as like 8 or 9, I think, but like actually through the books. Because funny, we did an event in Newcastle. You were there in Newcastle County Down last year.
Yes.
The girl that paid my wages in the fish factory was actually in the crowd.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's mad. Like think back, that's like 30 odd years ago.
And it's but it is mad, and I think so. At that point, then let's move into, say, like your 20s. So had a great childhood, had a great work ethic. Obviously, you understood the value of money and working for things, and that, I suppose, is like the foundation to anybody.
So I sold the horse and bought a car and started going to raves.
Started going, right, okay. So we kind of went a wee bit rogue, or did we go off?
Absolutely.
Really? Right.
Not too bad, like probably 16, 17, started going to the arena in Armagh.
Okay.
And all the mad places. And
Okay.
then I probably, when I was 20, started going completely off the rails.
Right. And like off the rails, like any average 20-year-old, or like off the rails?
No, bad. Like when I was raving, like probably from 16 to about 20,
Yeah.
I kind of loved it. It was all about the music. It was all about the fun.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't accept my sexuality. So it was a form of hiding and like my way of dealing with things. And then I was 21, my daddy died. And then I was in a relationship. It was fucking nightmare. It was a disaster. And I went completely off the rails, like to the point that it was just an escapism.
Right.
It was a dark couple of years. Like I didn't accept myself, lost my daddy, and went through a really shit relationship. So it went from fun partying to like partying to
Yeah.
escape. And
Yeah.
at the time I didn't think I was escaping something, but when I look back, I go, how the fuck am I still alive?
Still alive, yeah.
Like I did some crazy shit, like, and put myself in some dangerous situations, and I think everybody in their lives goes through
Well, I
them
feel,
crazy times.
yeah, and I think the thing is with it is like the carpet's very quickly pulled under your feet, where it's like you don't necessarily see it until you're maybe out of it sometimes.
Yeah.
But it is kind of like that. Like I know I've definitely experienced that, and similar to yourself, it is the sexuality thing. I think here is such a conditioned country, and even though it's came a long way, like it really has. But like I think, growing up, trying to come to terms with your sexuality, it is tricky. But when similar to you, like I felt like in my life, I got hit with loads of different kind of angles.
Yeah.
So something that once maybe brought you joy can very quickly turn into something that's maybe like, it's when people say about doing something, not recreationally, but like when you enjoy something versus when you abuse something. And do you
Yeah.
feel like is that where you're at more of a point? It was like a dark place. It was like a cry for help, but you maybe didn't realize
probably
that.
from 21 to 24
Okay.
was probably the hardest years of my life.
Yeah.
I was living in Belfast. As I say, I lost my dad and just didn't accept myself. I was going from job to job. Didn't
Yeah.
take anything serious. But I think everybody goes through a stage that doesn't always happen. Some people it happens in their late teens. Some people it happens in their 30s. Like everybody goes through shit at different stages of their lives.
Yeah.
But I went completely off the rails. And then I remember I just got out of hospital and I had broken my mummy's heart. Like she was dealing with the grief of my dad and she was dealing with a son out of control, and I just got out of hospital. I had my jaw smashed in 2 places and had to have surgery and stuff, and all to do with partying and being in the wrong place, the wrong people and whatever else.
Yeah.
And I could see how much it was hurting my mum. I was like, I need out of here. So I moved to Spain to be a holiday rep. And
In
Salou.
Oh, right, okay. Well, Salou's a bit more calm. If you had said Ibiza, that would have been.
Do you know what? I actually, the first destination I put down on that, so it was first choice.
Yeah.
It used to be Falcon holidays in Ireland, North and
Yes.
South, and it was first choice in the UK. And they give you where do you want to go, and I put Ibiza as number 1.
Yes.
But if you choose Ibiza as number 1, they send you to a family resort because they know you're a partier.
They know you're a part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, right. So that was. Well, I call that a guardian angel, I would say. So you
Yeah.
had Ibiza down.
yep,
So
it was the number 1.
Yeah, so you could have went like a different way. It could
Yeah.
have been nearly more like an escapism
Yeah.
from the realization.
Could have went from, what's that saying, the
Better
fryer
up
into the pan.
Yeah. So you ended up in Salou, and how was that?
It was good. Like, there was probably about 50 or 60 of us between reps,
Right.
holiday reps, and we all bonded really, really quick. Do you know when
Yes.
you're away and you're living with, you probably know from being in
Yes,
Ibiza
Ibiza,
as well,
yeah.
you bond really quick with people and you get to know them much quicker because you're working together, you're living together.
Yeah.
And I had the best time, but my ex at the time was still in touch.
Right.
And when I come home, I'd found out something dreadful.
Yeah.
And then I went back off the rails again.
Okay.
And again, I was in and out of hospital with broken bones and
Right.
loads of crazy stuff. And
Okay.
like, it just was dark again
Right.
as soon as I got home. And I was like, I need to get away further. And I
Okay.
booked Australia and
Right.
went off on my own. And it was the best thing that I ever did in my entire life because I was just in the pits. Like, I mean, the pits. Booked that flight, headed over there, and I had the best year of my life. And when I come home like a responsible person. I was
Right.
there for my mum. I was there for my sister.
Yeah.
I met Tony.
Yeah.
I was 25, I think, when I met him when I moved home, and life just started to change. Like, started to take my career professionally.
Yeah.
Still partied, like, and I
Yeah,
always will,
no,
still do.
But it's this thing
But
of like enjoying something versus abusing something. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's but it's kind of crazy that it like whenever like you would have maybe thought Salou was the answer, but then it was maybe just like you were filling a
You're
void.
back to Belfast, and you're back into
Back
that
in the
spiral.
same-
You're back into that party scene. You're
Yeah.
in the same circles of
Yeah.
and especially with being in a bad relationship and still
Yeah.
having that connection. It was rotten. It was
Yeah.
a horrible time.
Because it's like when you see whenever like you maybe look at it now, say from like the outside looking in, it's kind of like you can kind of it's nearly like a cocktail of disaster. Whereas like you can see where nothing really complements one another. Where you've got maybe say like low self esteem, not fully comfortable in their own skin with their sexuality, relationship that's making me even more insecure with low self esteem. Like, you know, everything's leading to like a dark. It's kind of sometimes it is hard to get out of that.
It's funny because even
Pattern.
people I know from the day, they're like, "Is that Brendan used to party with us in Davis Flats?" Like, and I still keep in touch with
Yes.
everybody that I party with. Like,
Yes.
even through the dark times, you still met connections and people that you
Yeah.
had like forever friendships and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Australia. Did you love Australia?
I had the time of my life.
Yeah.
It was literally like, and I was partying over there, but I was enjoying the partying.
You were yeah.
And I flew over. A couple of my friends were in Melbourne,
Yeah.
and they couldn't get jobs.
Okay.
And I seen an Irish flag and seen an Irish bar, walked straight in, got a job straight away.
straight away.
Started working in there. Met two guys from County Clare. They'd never met anybody gay in their life. I
Yes.
never told them I was gay.
Yeah.
And it was really awkward. I was like, "What do you think of her? What do you think of her?" And I was like, "Oh, she's great."
Yeah.
And then one night I got steaming and I brought them to the Peel. It was a gay
that a gay
club.
bar, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was one of them that's a bit dodgy and a wee bit,
Right.
not dodgy.
like
it was a
glory
wee bit,
holes, dark rooms, all that type of
not
shit.
that bad.
Oh, right, okay.
a wee bit of leather. I think there might have been a dark room upstairs in it. And they were like,
Aye.
"What the fuck have you on to tell us?" And we, surprise.
Yeah, oh, stop.
And yeah, then had a brilliant relationship with them, and we had the best crack. There were two real country boys from
Yeah.
County Clare, and then it was winter in Melbourne. And I think I spent the winter there, and it was fucking one of them summers. The
Yes.
roads at home were melting,
Right.
and I was freezing and sitting where melting, like, because they have no central heating,
yeah.
single glazing.
Yes.
They're not as equipped for winter as we are.
Okay.
And then I was like, right, had a great time, but I jumped on a flight of my own and went up to Sydney, and I started working in Scruffy Murphy's, and I mean, it was fucking Scruffy
Scruffy,
Murphy's.
really, right.
If anybody knows it from back in the day, anybody that was backpacking will remember how bad it was. It was like a 24-hour Irish bar.
Right.
And that's when I met, do you remember Emma Diver?
Yes.
That's how we got to
Oh
know
my
each
God,
other.
serious?
Yeah, we lived together. It was like, I think 6 of us sharing a room with 3 single beds. So the lads, a lot of
my
them were
God.
builders, and they were working during the day, but we were sleeping during the day because we worked all night.
Yes.
But I had the shittiest shift. Like, I used to start at midnight and finish at 8 in the morning. So I had to hose the place down, clean the toilets
right.
out. It was
Jesus.
fucking
fuck.
stinking.
Oh, you did get the raw end of the deal there. And then I suppose then, what made you then come home then from that life?
My visa was up,
Oh, right,
and
okay.
I was gonna
So you got bitted out basically.
put it out.
Yeah.
You could have went fruit picking, and then
Yeah.
you could have extended it. It was like,
Yeah.
I did enough in the fish factory when I was 11,
11,
and
right, okay.
I had a decent enough job just before I left, and I was like, just go home and get on with it. But whenever I met Tony, then you could get a visa for Canada.
Okay.
So I had applied for the visa, met Tony, and he was like, "Are you going to Canada?" I was like, "Yep." And
Right.
then I always blame him for not getting to go.
So you didn't go to Canada?
No.
You came home?
Yeah.
Did Tony come home?
No, I met him at home, but my plan was to come home
Oh.
and then move to Canada.
Canada.
And I met Tony in the meantime.
Oh, right. Oh, so Tony was here.
Yeah.
And you were in Australia.
Yeah.
And you were doing the whole like life down under. Then you came home with the
Met-
intention of hopping over to Canada
Yeah.
because you
I
weren't
was only
able.
going to come home for a couple of months, save up a bit of money, and then move to Canada and do another year there. But
Okay. So you turned down fruit picking in Australia, but you ended up fruit picking here.
no.
You got Tony.
Oh,
Sorry, Tony. But it's funny when we talk about gay, there's like gay and then there's like gay. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's like you're not passing, we call it. Like, I wouldn't say, like, Sean, what do you think? Would you know Brendan's gay?
I
Oh,
don't know.
no.
I'm not sure. Like,
Try to imagine you're walking down the street.
I feel like your voice
He's masculine.
isn't as like feminine. But
I'd say yours is maybe more feminine.
yeah, probably, yeah.
You're a gentle soul, Sean.
But but maybe
yeah.
like your appearance gives off more.
Yeah,
But,
because
like-
Metro David, it's very like David Beckham, like 2004.
Yeah.
Has anyone ever said that to you before? No, do you know what I mean? Do you see it? Like the hair and the beard. Like, do you dye the beard? Yeah, yeah,
Every morning.
yeah. Do you every morning?
No, it's just like a wee.
Like a wee thing.
it's
just
a wee.
colour.
If any learn that gift set, it's a wee brow thing.
Oh, was it? Oh, yes. Oh,
It looks well.
the brow gel. Yes. Oh, right. Okay. Oh,
Wee
very
bit of
good.
that in the morning. Bit of
Uh-huh.
definition.
Bit of definition. No, it does make a difference. But there is a difference though. But then, when would you say you came to terms with your sexuality? Was that like Australia?
Probably then. Like I know. Like when I told my family and my friends, they were all fine. It was just me.
Yeah.
My dad. I think I told him just before he went into hospital. It was actually. I was off the rails. I was actually
Yeah.
on a roof on a house in the Lisburn Road
Okay.
with a pair of boxers in my hand and a bottle of Buckfast in my hand.
Stop it.
And it was on a Sunday, early hours of a Sunday morning, decided to ring my daddy and tell him.
Uh-huh.
And my
Well, this is
mum,
how you came out to your dad.
yeah, my mum had already said, and he was like, oh, when Brendan tells me, it's his time to tell him. And that was on the Sunday. And then on the Monday, I got the phone call and said, your daddy's had a bad accident. And it was like, fuck, like I was madly hungover, but also was worried. Like my aunt was like, he was basically taken down. He was a digger driver,
Yeah.
and he was taken down like the chimney in a Procreal house. Is that what you call the priest's house?
Parochial house, yeah.
So
Yeah, no,
don't go that often.
No, I don't know how I know that either, but yeah.
So he was doing that, and the chimney had come down and landed on top of the digger. So it ended up he broke his back and his ribs and loads of broken bones basically. And my auntie was like, all he's asking for is you. And I was like, oh fuck. Like obviously worried about him, but then the phone call the morning before.
Yeah.
And I remember going over to the Royal Hospital and they had like the big orange like neck brace thing.
Yes, yes.
And he just said, he put out his hand. Oh, fuck.
Oh.
He put out his hand and he said, you're my son and I love you. And then he said, if anybody has a problem, it's funny. Yeah, he says, if anybody has a problem, I'll sort them out. And the two of us bust out laughing because he's lying there with a neck brace on and we just laughed our heads off. And then he was fine. He got an operation on his back and he was to make a full recovery. And then he ended up getting the MRSA, which is a hospital bug. And he ended up dying of major organ failure. So, yeah. But I'm glad I had that like 2 months with him,
Yeah.
which I was really lucky because I was able to build that relationship up. You're crying.
No, I'm crying too. But no, it's the same type of thing. Like with my dad, I think it's a young boy. That's all you really want is that like
Confirmation
The
that they're okay with
confirmation
it.
that-
Like if he had died in that accident and I didn't
you're-
give that chance to
Yeah.
talk to him, I would have always had been thinking, what did he think of me? And then
Yeah.
I remember because I was mad into raves and he was on the morphine and he goes, do you know what, Brendan? I'd love to go to one of them raves with you. And I was like, right, okay. He's like, I hear they're all like getting on it and all. And I was like, he's pumping the morphine into him. And I remember years ago in the club scene, like they used to send you used to be a member.
Yeah.
And they used to send you, because there was no frigging social media in them
Yeah,
days.
yeah.
So every month you would have got your flyer out and it would have had the lineup, Judge Jules, Lisa Lashes,
Oh,
whatever. And
right.
that's how you knew what DJ was playing.
Yeah.
So I remember when he died, like I put the flyer of the arena in with him.
Yeah. Oh.
So yeah, it was. You know, it's mad to think like what has scared the fuck clean out of me though. Like I'm about to be a parent and I'm
Yeah.
42,
Yeah.
and my daddy was 43 whenever he passed away.
passed
So
away.
that
So young.
age has always kind of freaked me out a wee bit. And then it's
Yeah.
like I was running around like ahead of her at that age, and
Yeah.
like he was the same age as me, with a crazy 21-year-old. Like imagine me now with a fucking 21-year-old off the rails.
But it's we really are all on like I think different paths. Like you can't look at like I think we've talked on age a lot on here, and it's like you can't say the whole like you should be here or there. we're all like, you know,
Everybody's in different
everybody's
journeys.
different. Some
Yeah.
people really want to soak the youth and like really travel and do all these things, and then more in their late 30s, 40s is when they start to
I
think
really
of, like,
ripped the arse out of it.
yeah,
like.
no, I would be the same. I would want to rep because like you are only young once. Like I know that's very like cliche, but you know, I'd want to make the most of it. Meanwhile, some people really want to get the foundation set up so then they can start living and have the wains reared. But and do you feel like in regards to like grief, how did you? Obviously, we know that you went into like more like a dark mindset.
I think I dealt with
but
it like
yeah.
that sort of 21 to 24, and do you know the rewarding bit was being able to be there for my mum and my sister, because I always felt guilty whenever there was obviously like a medical case and whatever.
Yeah.
And I was in Australia, and Mummy and Leanne were dealing with that, and there's press and whatever else, and
Yeah.
and kind of Mum was like, the best thing you ever done was going away, because you just were dealing with your own grief, and I actually did her a favour by not being there, and then coming back and being that bit more mature. And
Yeah.
I think the way life's went, you know, I've been able to. The main thing I always wanted to do is to look after my mum and my sister, and she's looked after me as well. Like she's been my number one fan. Like from the very minute I started BPerfect, like she was in the candy centre with me.
Yeah.
Me and her on day one, like hadn't a clue what we were doing. So it's it's done a full 360, and I feel like I'm now proud of being able to be there for my mum and my sister.
Yeah. And do you feel like, if, I suppose whenever you look back at it all, do you look, I don't know if I believe that everything happens for a reason, but do you believe that like we're guided on like a path? Like if you look at your path, do you feel like, say, certain dark moments were like help navigate you to, do you know where
Definitely
I'm coming
believe everything happens for a reason, and I also believe I'm big into manifesting. You know, if you don't think something in your mind, it's never going to happen. And I think from my whole, I think I was 30 when I read that book, The Secret.
Okay, yes.
And I can actually remember I worked in Yellow Pages, and I absolutely fucking hated it.
Right.
I always worked
That's
in...
really random.
I've done everything. So I always worked in direct sales. So I started off... Holiday Rep was when I first got into sales, and I used to like be the highest seller for all the excursions. So do you remember, do you know Portaventura in Salou?
Oh wow, yeah.
I loved that theme park, and the excitement I used to have about selling them tickets. I was like, you're up and you're down, no way around. Fucking the Dragon Can, I think the big ride was called. So I always had the highest sales. And there was the hotel that I was in, there was meant to be 3 reps, and one of them dropped out, and then there was only 2 of us. And then the other one was dropping out, and they were going to replace him. And I was like, no, I can handle this all on my own. Gritty salesman. I was like, give me that hotel to myself. So I always went above and beyond, like in my work ethic, no matter where I was. So I think off the top of my head, there was like 600 guests. You usually had about 200 guests per holiday rep.
Right.
Where I took the 600 on, and I was like,
Right.
I'll look after them. And I would have worked longer hours, stayed in the hotel, went round them all, made sure they were all okay, and absolutely loved it.
So that was the part where then I suppose you kind of got like, say, like addicted to like the hustle, in the sense of like that kind of like the, not competitiveness.
The harder that you work, the more you get. Like obviously
yeah.
I was selling more excursions, and I was earning like good commission from the things, but I also cared about the guests, and I also enjoyed what I did as well. I think when you enjoy what you're doing, and you're working hard, and obviously if you're getting like commission or whatever it is you're doing, you're getting the return from it as well. And then I went home and started selling credit cards. Like I was one of them annoying people in shopping centres.
Really? Really? Right.
That's how BPerfect started too.
Right. Okay. Oh my God. Right.
I used to stand at the front of the thing like, do you use a Visa or a MasterCard? But the first day that I started, it was just after I remember saying about my jaw.
Yeah.
So my jaw was completely wired up.
Okay.
So you couldn't see anything from the outside, but I couldn't open my mouth.
Okay.
So I was like, do you use a Visa or a MasterCard? Because I couldn't open my mouth. So, and I got the highest sales in that day.
Really?
Yeah.
And do you think it was because, was it we wear like a brace?
People felt sorry for me.
Felt sorry for you.
Did that for years, loved it. And then when did Sky TV for a while, did the shopping centres for Sky. And then after that went to Yellow Pages because it was true. Do you remember the credit crunch?
Yes.
It's like everybody's making big cutbacks, and I had no commission. I worked, or no basic, so I worked in commission only, and I'd just taken on my first mortgage. So I was like, fuck, I need like somewhere with decent basic.
Yeah.
So that if I don't have any commission, then I'll have my basic to pay my mortgage.
Pay your mortgage, right?
Went to Yellow Pages, and oh fuck me, I felt like I was tied to a chair. It was like in a call centre,
Right.
and you get timed as soon as you left for your break. You get timed, and there used to be like stand with a big board. Right, you have another 10k to do, and it was like, ooh, fuck.
Right.
But
Like Wall
also-
Street vibes.
Yeah, but
Like
it was
AliExpress
also.
version,
I don't
but-
mind selling something that I believe in, but at the time it was in the credit crunch, and you were ringing
Okay.
plumbers and builders that were not in work,
Right.
and you were telling them like, you're not in this. Am I allowed to say the names in this?
What do you
Alright.
mean?
Like,
Yellow Pages?
yeah, it's fine.
Is Yellow Pages even a thing anymore?
Okay.
No, I think we're all right.
So it used to be. It used to be like.
Your number anyway.
Like,
Yeah.
So we used to ring them and be like, "Oh, are you online?" No, and they were like, "You're telling me you've no business and you've no jobs." It was because we were in a recession.
Yes.
But we were saying it's because you're not online, and there was 7 people looking for a plumber in West Belfast last week, but you weren't on there whenever somebody searched on Yale.com. And I was like, fucking did not enjoy it because
Right.
you knew it didn't work half the time.
Yes.
And then you were talking to people in these ads, and I was like, I have to leave. This isn't for me. But I stuck it for like 10 months. I call it hell.com instead of yell.com.
Stop. And then how did we get from that Yellow Pages to
Why?
makeup?
So I started.
Is there, I'm going to assume there's
remember-
like 5 things in between.
No.
No?
Do you remember Groupon and Living Social?
Is that like the coupons?
Yeah.
Right?
So it was in the credit crunch, and I was working in advertising for
Okay.
Yellow Pages that weren't working for businesses at the time. They weren't getting a result.
Okay.
So with the daily deals, you were going in,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and I was really passionate about it. I loved it. So you would have gone into restaurants and beauty salons, and they all weren't getting the footfall because it was through economic downturn.
Okay.
And we were offering them like half price tickets. So like if a restaurant was empty Monday to Friday, we'd have got half price vouchers, and the restaurants were full, and
full.
you did like a main course and a drink.
Okay.
But then of course when people were in, they maybe bought a like starter or
A
whatever
starter,
else.
yes.
So it actually worked really well, and I loved that. And I had built it up. I had all my merchants, as we call them, all your customers.
Yeah.
And then I was like, right, what do I want to do? And I work with a lot of beauty salons as well. Turned 30, says, "Mummy, I'm going to start a business." She was like, oh, fuck, here we go again.
Oh, God. Right.
So we went over to London to one of the beauty shows. And, sorry, I went around all of any stall that was selling something that you did a demo with.
Right.
And I was like, because I had all the experience of the credit cards and Sky,
Yes.
like being,
Okay.
oh, come on over, like being that
Yeah,
annoying
yeah.
person.
Yes. You see,
So-
I've done all that type of
Did
stuff
you?
too. Yeah, I've done like the PR in the nightclubs, and I've done like the exhibitions. I used to work in construction and done that.
Pulling
like,
them over.
Yeah, like trade sectors and stuff. Yeah.
But I love doing that. And then I was like, how can I combine that world with
Yeah.
like what I've done? And I was like, Mummy, right, we'll go around. And I bought like hair removal pads. I don't know if you remember them things.
Okay.
It used to end up leaving you with scabs.
Oh,
But
right,
like
okay.
when you did a demo of it, it was like sandpaper basically.
Right, okay.
And it burnt the hairs off.
Right.
Bought these things for your nails. Bought the eyebrow stencils.
Yeah.
And that was the wee stencil.
See, I remember the eyebrow stencils.
It's probably because of me.
Yes. No. But I remember. No, the word, the BPerfect, because my ma, she used to pluck her eyebrows, and then she never had any eyebrow hairs. So that's how I first knew what BPerfect was. I remember she got sold it, I think, in Castle Court.
Probably me.
Probably it was very like, oh, there was just someone on a table. I bought this stencil. And she's like, how do you do it? And like she hadn't a clue. Like, but it was a good job though. Like, but this is like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was at the show and bought all these things, and I said I was on the way home, and I said to Mum, I'm going to buy the Book of Secret, and I bought it in the airport because I remember everybody in Yellow Pages buying the Book of Secret, and I think, is there a fucking cult? What's going on? And they had all the top sales, and I was at the bottom.
Right.
So it must have worked for them, but I just wasn't in the right place. And then one of the guys that I met, he was from Wales,
Yeah.
and I met him in London, and he was in Dublin the week after. And I said to him, look, I'll come down and buy a couple of them eyebrow kits off you.
Right.
So me and my ma busted it down to
Sold
Dublin,
it.
bought the 50 eyebrow kits off him, went to B&Q, bought a table, just like a normal table and chair
Yeah.
out of B&Q, and we went to Candy Centre, booked it for 2 days, and sold out in the first day. So then
Right.
that's literally how I started. And then the week after, I booked the Abbey Centre, and I booked it for 3 days, and I booked 300 kits off him, or sorry, 200 kits off
Yeah.
him that week. And then the week after, kept buying more. And then I was like, he was charging me like, I can't remember what it was at the time, but I was like, if I made this myself. But from day one, I always called the wee shop BPerfect.
Yes.
And then I was like, I wonder, could I manufacture this? hadn't a fucking clue about manufacturing. So started sourcing factories, started looking in the UK, China, America, Googling like a crazy thing.
Oh my God. Right.
And then I found one supplier and I still work with her to this day.
Oh my God.
She
stop
actually
it.
does probably, still to this day, she's probably our main supplier. And I just found her on Google years ago. And started, I remember the first time I had taken, over in the Boucher Road, I lived in a flat in North Belfast and I was carrying everything in out of the flat. And Tony's like, you're chipping the walls, you're going to ruin your car, blah, blah, blah. So I bought like this, I rented this wee place over in the Boucher Road and it was like, I swear to God, it's the size of this.
Fuck off. So this is a fucking startup too. You fucking cunt.
It's not. It was tiny.
No, I know what you mean though, yeah.
Took
So it's
that
like a
on.
storage space. Yeah.
And then I think it was maybe 6 months after that, then I took a place over, it was on the Grosvenor Road.
Okay.
I went in and it was an old car place. And I went in and I mean, it was fucking stinking. So I went in and power hosed the whole place down.
Oh my
So
God.
we went in because we were doing all the trade shows at the time, driving around. We were doing mall pop-ups. We were doing like horse shows, cow shows, beauty shows, over 50
Balmoral.
shows, all of them.
All of them.
Every show you can imagine. We were doing like 100 a year because then my sister started doing, so I got a van, me and Nicole went to England.
Right.
We would have flew over, left the van at an airport, would come home for 2 days and then would have went back and my sister would have done all the shows
And
in
this
Ireland.
was all for the eyebrow stencil.
All the eyebrow stencil. And then, what was it? So I'd taken this lock-up thing, went in and power hosed it all, painted it all, and then my uncle came down and put a partition wall in, went to the second-hand shop and bought my table and my chair, and that was the first office. So
It was very, like, not very DIY. Did you
100%.
ever think it would be what it is? Did you ever have like a vision?
no.
No.
People always ask me that,
yeah.
but I think because it's been a 12-year journey, there's been, every year there's been big momentum moments.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, a lot of people think BPerfect's only like 6 or 7 years. When I go, it's like 12. They're like, didn't think it was that old. But
Yeah, but then when
I was so small and like literally driving around in the back of my car, selling out of literally the boot, more or less.
Yeah.
And then it just evolved. Like I remember like some of the early stages was like going from like the Kennedy Centre 2 days, and then I booked Castle Court for a full week. And my
Right.
mummy's like, "Oh fuck,
that was
Brendan."
major, that was a big moment.
She was like, "Don't be spending all that money."
Yeah.
Mummy's always saying no. She's always really
Right.
cautious. And then we started doing trade shows, like the wedding show in Belfast.
Yes.
And they're way more expensive than malls.
Uh-huh.
And Mummy's like, "Oh, don't be spending that for like 3 days."
Yeah.
She was always really cautious.
Uh-huh.
And then started doing the shows in England. So there was always like bits where it had evolved and went
right.
up a notch. Like going from running around Belfast, we started doing Dublin, then we started doing the UK. And then I think the first big moment then was when we done Dragon's Den.
Yeah, so talk about that.
Do you know how it came about? I was doing the beauty show in Belfast and there was, I think it was Eleanor you called her. She was one of the RTE dragons and Nicole sold her the eyebrow kit. And
I can imagine that. Nicole's like a fucking koala bear, like hanging off the girl. She wasn't allowed any option other than to buy it.
so
Let's be real.
True. She had sold to her, and then everybody's like, "That's the girl from Dragon's Den." Me straight on to Google that night when I went home, and then I applied for it, and they come back pretty quick.
Right.
And I remember it all happened really, really quickly. And at the time, we had still like hundreds of shows booked.
Right.
And that's kind of where we evolved from like shows to like into retail. And we started
Okay.
we'd done, and like the first pharmacy I sold into was Cooper's in Andytown. And then we'd sold into, I remember going and pitching to Medicare and Colin from Medicare. If anybody in the pharmacy world knows, he's a hard sell.
Right.
And I got into 10 Medicars. And we were doing well. I think Gordon's then came to us.
Yeah.
And we were doing well in the north. And then we did RT Dragon's Den.
Yeah.
When that aired, it just blew up in
Really?
Southern Ireland. Yeah, like every pharmacy in the south, like took us in nearly overnight.
Oh my God.
And I knew at the time, like I remember people saying, like you've 12 months to like take the
maximise.
marketing out
Yeah.
of being on the show.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's the next step going to be? And then it was LMD palette.
Oh
And
my
then
gosh.
it went crazy. Like there was people like writing notes in pharmacies, like taking notes down and were paying deposits. Like the LMD palette was,
It was massive.
mental.
That-
Yeah.
I feel like that's whenever a lot of people knew about BPerfect. But it's weird because all these worlds were all kind of moving. So basically, like the digital world, this was the beginning of the digital world, especially here. So like LMD. Like was like the OG, like you know she was one of the first, like you know she was a celebrity makeup artist. She was doing like Lauren from Towie, like which doesn't sound like a big deal, but it was such a big deal at that time period. Towie was huge, and then you're starting this brand, then you merged together.
I think it's the first time like a UK or Irish
collaboration.
brand did a collaboration. There's
Yeah.
been loads done now, but we were
Yeah.
definitely one of the first. And then the year after, I was like, I'll do the. It's actually, I don't know if you know this, but I started working on the P. Louise palette on her base.
Really?
Yeah. So she was working with somebody else. Me and her had like a meeting, and we had talked about it, and I started like getting samples and stuff for her.
Right.
And it didn't work out because she had a time that she needed to launch it by.
Right.
And me and her laugh about this to this day.
Oh my God.
And then I contacted Stacey Marie, and it worked out well because Stacey went all colour,
Yes.
and that palette went global.
Yeah,
it was mental.
I always think like the LMD palette and like the Carnival palette, they were the two
Big moments,
massive
yeah.
ones. And then I think once you moved into foundation, I think, in my opinion, I think that's what
Changed
made
the
it
game.
more, because it was everything still had that kind of collaboration spin. But when was BPerfect going to have its own product with standing on its own?
Yeah.
Even though you had all them wee side sub products, but I think the chroma cover was definitely like a game changer.
Do you know what it was?
Proper,
It was over COVID and pallet sales. Do you remember Emma Pallets went mental for us in year one?
Yeah.
Like we doubled the business, but I think people bought that many eyeshadow pallets over COVID.
Yeah.
Pallets changed, so a lot of big global brands,
Yeah.
a lot of them dropped off and they
Uh-huh.
they had massive decline.
Yeah.
Where in the background I was like, right, we need to work on core.
Yeah.
So me and Alex, Alex had started working on. I was like, we need our foundation, we need our bronzers, we need our blushers.
Yeah.
And it was the perfect timing because pallet sales actually dropped way
Mm-hmm.
down after COVID, and a lot of brands really suffered. But that's when we come out with base products.
Right.
So it worked well. So everything in business, I think, it's the right time, the right product, the right people.
Yeah.
And constantly, you have to just be ahead of the game. You have to be thinking, what's next?
What's next? So you can never kind of get comfortable.
No,
Would you say?
never.
Never. And then, so then I suppose, so you're saying that you never kind of seen it going that where it's massive now. Like, it is a worldwide brand. And you can see definitely, like, so you had obviously with your collaborations, and then you then were like a staple base product with your chroma covers, your concealers. Then it did become more of like, in my opinion, prestigious. Do you know what I mean? Like, as in BPerfect.
I'll give you an interesting stat.
Yeah, okay.
You probably wouldn't think this, and a lot of people don't. Where do you think 70% of our sales come from?
I'm gonna say Scotland.
70%?
Oh, I'm just trying to like. I feel like this is like a trick question. So Scotland just feels like
It's
the
a
right
very
answer.
easy one.
Belfast,
Ireland, North and South.
North and South.
Yeah.
Aye, so right.
But
Still?
like, yeah,
Right,
but
okay.
now TikTok has obviously changed that. The mainland UK is absolutely booming now.
Yeah.
In the carnival days, like it was global. But I think with what we've done with like our furniture and everything else,
Yeah.
the what do you call that? The framework that we now
Yeah.
have, it's now the first time that we're ready to export properly. Like we just launched in, fuck, do you call the country? What's that called, Emma? Malta.
Malta.
Yeah.
Oh yes, right. Okay.
And it's the first time we've went into
Right.
a country with proper furniture, the proper products.
Right, okay.
And it's absolutely booming.
Yeah.
Dubai as well. So we launched there last year.
Uh-huh.
They took the furniture in and they said, look, pallets don't sell as well for us anymore. So
Yeah.
they went half pallets, half base, and the base products are flying for them.
Right.
So they're in the middle of like putting more base and more wearable products in. So Dubai's starting to really kick off for us. And then we're launching TikTok Shop USA in January, all going well.
Oh my god, right? Because TikTok Shop's only available in the UK, isn't that right? Or
It's
is that
only
my
in
wrong?
America about 6 months. It's not in
It's
it.
only and still not down south.
No. So
Why is that?
Ireland's going to be the third country in the world to get it.
To get
so
it.
there's talk of it being mid-December, but I think
Okay.
it's going to be January, realistically.
And then, do you feel like so? Like this is the thing that like we could literally do like maybe about 4 or 5 episodes. Like there was Made Up in Belfast with the BBC. Do you know about this, Sean?
No.
Oh, these are reality TV stars as well. When I say jack of all trades, I do mean jack of all trades. Yeah. So they had their own show on BBC Three.
I didn't know.
It was given like an insight into like life and like building like a beauty business. And would that be a fair analogy or?
You had a cameo too.
And I had a cameo when I was handing out leaflets. So I used to work for, they have a shop out in Ibiza and I worked in it. Well, didn't do much work.
Knew that.
Always slept in the storeroom. Now I can say that.
You sure you still want to do them
I know.
TikToks?
Aye, fuck off. I told you I'm skinny. I need money. Stop it, daddy. Like 12 years, are you saying?
Yeah.
It's crazy. And it all started from like the Kennedy Centre.
Yeah.
Basically, if you were to give
Where
advice,
dreams come true.
no, literally, but does that not just go to show you do not know what direction
Yeah.
things can go in life? Like at the minute, I definitely feel like in my life at the minute we've started this, I really don't know where this is going to go. And
I think you've got the right attitude, though. You've got the hustle in you, and you know what you want to do. And I think as long as you stay positive, and you keep manifesting that you're going to do something, I always think that you'll do it. Like I manifest in wee bits.
Okay.
So, and I think I've the whole way through life and business is like I've got the one goal, but I didn't set big, mad, unrealistic ones.
Right. Okay.
So I'm kind of like slow and steady.
Yeah.
Kind of wins the race. So.
Yes.
I think if you keep that mindset, you'll definitely and take every achievement and build on that.
Well,
I think some people try to go from 0 to 100. Well, I do that every fucking week, but in terms of business, but
I just more minds was like ruining my life. But go on.
I always think like I've never taken any huge risks.
Okay.
Like I've always kind of taken calculated risks.
Okay.
So like you have to take risks, whatever it is in your career, your personal goals, whatever it is. Like in life, you have to take risks. But I've never done anything like huge that could have floored the brand, if that makes sense.
Okay. And then I was going to say that then, like say like mistakes in business. Have you ever made? I suppose every business owner's made mistakes.
Fuck loads. Do you know what's really nice? Like I've made so many.
Yeah.
Voodoo's obviously is the second brand.
Yeah.
And it doesn't make the same mistakes because it's kind of we've learned so much, and then it's nice for Voodoo's then it doesn't make the same mistakes as what we've had in BPerfect. But you always make mistakes. People, businesses, business owners, everybody in their life makes mistakes. But I always think that's what you learn the most from. And I think without mistakes, you wouldn't have knew the answer.
Okay. And so it's like you're not always going to get it right, but then it's more like owning the mistake and then kind of right, what can we gain, what can we change, how can we make this different or whatever, and then you kind of learn and grow from that.
100%.
So you do think because I think sometimes people do have the fear of making mistakes. It's the fear of the rejection or the fear of failure, and that sometimes is what can put people off, say like taking risks or trying out new things or this or that. But do you feel like that's necessary in order to?
If it's calculated. So I've seen like other business owners, like they might see a trend and they might see something, and like some even people I'm friends with, they'll invest huge amount of money into things, and sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't. And just I think different, I suppose, business owners have different. I like to sleep at night, so me putting like a huge like I could go to America next week and open 300 stores and take a bank loan to roll that out. And it would be a big risk, but it would be a big impact all at once.
Right.
But that would scare the shit out of me. Like, I've never taken a loan for the business or anything like that. Like, that's where I think where some people would be all in. Let's get a big bank loan and let's fund this and let's roll this out globally.
Right.
Where, I don't know, I'd be too nervous.
Aye, and I think that's where I get where you're coming from. Like,
and it works for some people, but I think people just.
But you're taking a gamble.
You're taking a gamble, yeah.
Yeah, and it's more nearly like, right, where are you at? What do we need to do to get to the next step? And even if you have a goal, which is maybe like say 5 steps ahead, don't ignore them first 3 or 4 steps to get there. You can't just like hop over.
100%.
Any hard lessons in business? Like any like realizations or? Because I don't know how you do it. I would imagine it's very stressful. Obviously enjoyable for you, but
probably the one thing that I would regret if I keep going the way I'm going is I wouldn't have time for my family.
Right.
And I feel like at the minute, in the last, like there was 6 weeks there, I was doing 12, 14-hour days non-stop, and it burns you out. And I've hit burnout loads of times, and when you're at burnout, you make more mistakes because you're not thinking right, and then you're getting a little bit sharp with people and stuff like that as well. So I think, obviously, with what's about to change in life,
we'll get on to that.
I need to learn to step back and hand things over. It's hard, see, when you've built something. I have an amazing team and family that have all helped me, but everything always falls on my shoulders.
Okay.
And that can be hard. Like, it's challenging. Like, it's right down to small things. Always comes back to me. And I have very much like an open door policy in work, and sometimes I'm like, fuck, I need to shut that door.
Shut that door.
But yeah, it's just, I'll never change though. You know, I'll always be that person, the door's always open. But I need to learn definitely to step back and not try and do everything on my own.
Do you find it hard to let go of control?
Yes and no. I'm kind of, let people hand over control, but I can never take my eyes off it. It's
You're
probably
always looking.
yeah, but I'm also very much that without my team I'm nothing. So the team mean absolutely everything to me. Like Emma sitting in the background, come in, you had maybe 1 year's experience, and now our marketing manager. There's so many success stories like Emma that makes me really proud. Yeah. And I've handed so much over to you. Like I trust them with everything. But I'm still all over everything, if that makes sense. So you can't, if you don't have, like I've had things happen in the past, like scenarios that were really bad. Yeah. And it could have made me very guarded and very closed off, where you would have to not trust anybody, but you have to trust people and you have to hand things over. Otherwise, I'd still be standing in the candy centre with my mama.
True.
Do you know what I mean? My mummy's very much like not a risk taker at all. Okay. She's a real warrior. Yeah. She's on one end of the scale. Yeah. And then you've people on the other end of the scale. I'm probably in the middle. Yeah.
Well, that's a good place to be. It is a good place to be. And it's funny because it's like, even, do you remember like the season finale of Made Up in Belfast? And it was very much like you were taking like a step back. And it's like, you've no more took a step back. Like that was just a load of shit, was it?
There was more to that, so there was.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. Because we're going to now.
Will we take a break maybe?
Yeah, what about for time?
We could hear from our sponsors.
We could hear from our sponsors. Do you know what? We'll pause on that there. We're going to be getting a bit more juice in a minute from Brendan. We're going to squeeze it all out of him. Don't be telling Tony. But we're going to hear from our sponsors, which happens to be right beside us. Okay, so we are having a quick ad break, and we've got the CEO. He's no ho. He's got Tony. But he's not like the rest of us gays. Stop. All right, we're moving in a different kind of advertising here. Look, this is the ad break. BPerfect is our sponsor. Do you know what? Maybe you could give me a couple of tips. Maybe my sound's not up to scratch.
Just need to pop your wee code into
the wee. Oh, I thought you were going to pop something else there. Right, so our discount code is Pop My Cherry, and that gets people discount off. Now, this week is a special week because it is
Black Friday.
Black Friday. Now, usually codes wouldn't work usually.
Pop My Cherry does.
Right, okay, so this is an exclusive. If you are listening, you have access to the discount code. Nobody else is getting it, I think. We have, what are the offers for Black Friday?
Is it up to 90% off, Emma? Up to 99% off.
Wow. Up to 90. What's that mean? No.
It means some products will be 99% off.
Because you ever see that sometimes, like up to, and it's like, wow, and I was like, wait a minute, is there?
They do sell out really quick.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can actually use your code on the up to 99% off. Yep.
Right, okay, so this
just pop it in.
Pop it in. Well done. Little Dragon's Den. Very good, Brendan. I've learned a thing or two. Look, guys, Pop My Cherry, the discount code. It's not working for anybody else. Like, fuck Anna Olivia's code. Don't be using hers this week. She's enough money. Like, you know what I mean? She's getting married in a very lovely place. Like, look at me. Like, I'm still trying to build the hustle here. So use my code instead. You know, take pity on me and use it. And as well as that, like Black Friday, it's not going to work for anybody else. My code is the only code that works. This podcast platform, Pop My Cherry. So what would you say is your pick of the week? We always do like a favorite.
Christmas sets.
Christmas sets.
Black Friday. And your code will work on Christmas sets
Christmas
as well.
Sets as well. Yeah. Okay, right. And what's your favorite gift set if you were to recommend?
The ice set.
The ice set. Okay.
Yeah, the Pallets done it. Actually, it's there.
That's it there. We actually have it there. Hold on, lift it up there. It's right behind you there, look.
What do you mean?
No, right there.
That's in front.
Oh, why? No, that's the pallet. But that's the box.
Oh.
Fuck me. I swear us two would be great in QVC, wouldn't we? We'd really... That is it here. As you can see, I will do the magician's hands. All eyes on me. All eyes are on us. And this could be on you. So you get a set of... Is that half lashes or full? Half. Oh, I love a half lash. It's more feline, like... Isn't it? Yeah, I do prefer a half lash. You've got the synchronized palette. You've got the perfect prime. That is for setting the eyes. The indestructible brow. So that is everything with our sponsor. Is there anything else you want to throw in here? Like, look, this is your...
No, you covered it all.
Covered it all.
You're like part of the family, Jerry. You know the deals by now.
I do know. I do. And you know what? It's I do know that you always do go mad for Black Friday. So do keep an eye on their socials, on the website. There's going to be loads of offers happening every day. I know you do loads of different bundles and different things. So keep an eye. TikTok, will you be doing stuff over there?
24-hour life split over 2 days.
Christ.
So is that 24 hours?
12 and 12? 24.
Yeah.
24, yeah. We're terrible at maths. But look, we're good at selling. So Del Boy and Rodney here. That is the ad pitch. BPerfect Cosmetics. Thank you for sponsoring. And don't forget, pop my cherry if you want that extra discount on Black Friday. Okay, so thanks to our sponsor, BPerfect, and to Brent. It's kind of funny because you're here. Because it doesn't sound that. But right, we were talking there. You were saying at the end of Meet Up in Belfast, you said you were taking a step back, then you took a step forward. What was the reasoning behind that?
It's actually, I don't think I've actually discussed this with anybody, but I was meant to be going off to have our baby then, and we had a couple of mishaps. I think it's hard when you're on a journey. You just assume that it happens, and until you're in like a family journey, you don't realize how common it is for people that, you know, miscarriages and things like that. And I think it's almost like a bit of a taboo that people don't talk about that often because, and I get it, when you've been through it, you almost feel like a letdown.
Really?
Do you know when you've announced to your family or whatever, and then it doesn't work out? Like, it almost feels like, I can see why so many people don't want to talk about it. It's almost like you feel disappointed because your journey hasn't worked out and you've got all excited. And so, the first time we were at 6 weeks, and the second time we were at 12 weeks. We were at scan and there was no heartbeat. But yeah, it was tough. Like, we're on a 5-year journey, and the second time was the hardest because we were right back to the start of the journey. But lucky things picked up for us, and we're 6 weeks from having our daughter. I haven't said that too many. It feels weird saying that out loud.
Stop.
So 6 weeks, and she will be here.
Oh my gosh.
Get her on the next podcast.
Oh wow. Well, we'll let her grow up a wee bit first, sure. Hopefully this podcast is still going. But well, you know, it will be. Me and Sean will be old, and we'll interfere. But so this family's been very much always like a goal.
Yeah,
for you to
100%.
have a family.
It was the reason that I started BPerfect. Being in a same-sex relationship, it's not the easiest to get pregnant.
No.
And back then, when I wanted to start a family, even gay couples couldn't adopt in Northern Ireland. It's moved on since that, but and the route that we decided, it was an expensive route, and it was the only goal that I had. So I think for a lot of business owners, they have different reasons. Some people are motivated by money. Some people are motivated by like all different reasons. For me, it was just to be able to have a family and to be able to look after my family. And like when we had the 12th birthday this year, and like I feel like it's actually, I get emotional thinking about it, but like even going off, I feel like I'm leaving one baby to have another. Like I'm not going to be there in December, which is our busiest time of the year in work. And we are, you probably know yourself, we are like one big happy dysfunctional family. So I'll be sad leaving, like, and I'm only going for a couple of months, I think probably 3 months. Not sad, but like excited. Like I'll be emotional probably leaving, because it's been my dream for forever. So I'll be emotional for that reason. Then I'll be emotional leaving everybody as well. But back when we did the TV show, I was meant to go off to have the baby then,
the chapter
and it didn't work out. And then obviously that was the last episode of the show, so nobody really knew.
I didn't know.
But I will be stepping back this time.
Yes.
Ish.
And like what? So now obviously, because it's like, you know, have you ever changed a nappy?
No,
have you? I think as Sean. So Sean, you're
It's not too bad.
Yeah. So Sean's newly a parent. Sean, what's
6 months.
If you could give Brendan any advice, I suppose.
Like work on your upper body, start from the gym. But I would say on your back, because your back's gonna be murdered.
Really?
What's the hardest bit?
I would say just like entertainment. You become like this showman because you just like it's someone just relies on you all day. Actually, the things that you hear about, like the feeding and the lack of sleep and the nappies, you sort of get accustomed to. But I feel like the hardest bit is just having to constantly dance about and sing these songs and like. And lift them up. That's like the most tiring bit, because you have to be on it all the time. But it's amazing, and it's the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Stop.
So You've got so many amazing memories ahead of you.
Yeah.
I'm so happy for you.
Can't wait. I'm ready for it. Like,
Do you feel like you're at that stage? You're ready for it?
100%. I've done the traveling, I've done the partying, I've done the business, and I'm ready for something new. I'm ready for this chapter of my life.
And it's
Scared, like, but
then this is the thing. It's like, you know, when you say about, like, not that you're letting go or you're taking a step back, so to speak, but like when you say about the one baby to another baby, like, you know, like it's change is scary, but change is sometimes necessary and exciting. And, you know, like, the thing is, you are lucky. You do have such a great team, but you've built that from the ground up, you know, and credit to you. But this is something,
I think organically I'll hand a lot more over now.
Yeah.
Like, this time next year I'm not going to be doing 6 weeks on the trot with 14-hour days.
No.
And do you know, everybody in work's laughing because they're like, and Tony is as well. He's like, do you know what? Like, having to get up every 4 hours and change a nappy and I feed Brendan, that's going to be wee ones to do in comparison to what you do in work.
No, literally.
So,
but it will be such a change. So
I just can't wait. Like, it sounds weird, but the thing I can't wait for the most is just to be like lying and her just lying on my chest and like, do you know when it's something that you've wanted for so long? And I'm such a close relationship with my niece. Like, my sister was on a really long journey, and she's just obsessed with me, and I love it. Like, we had her last Saturday and took her out to the park, and it's like a different feeling. Just my niece kind of got me into what's about to happen.
Right.
And yeah, can't wait.
And can I ask you this? You see, with your niece, was your niece, so for me, I know that whenever I used to be very much, like, I suppose definitely like being gay, and then we think of like a same-sex relationship, you can't really conventionally maybe have like a family the same way like a straight couple could have. And so you kind of do rule out the possibility sometimes of like, that's not really for me, I'll be at the Kremlin at 50, you know, still giving it stacks. But once I had a niece, that made me kind of melt. Was that the same for you, or did you always very much
100%,
want family?
like, my mum thought she was never going to be a grandparent because my sister had a difficult time as well, and now she's going to have 2 grandkids. She's over the moon. It's just like, for me, it was being born, like, it's changed our family. Like, we're just like so much more closer and happier. And it's just, there's no better feeling in the world than when you have a baby and they're laughing and smiling, and she's now at that age, she's starting to say loads, like, she doesn't shut up, to be honest, but I love it. Like, I love like the terrible twos, like that's the bit that I'm most excited for.
Oh wow.
I know people say it's the hardest, but I think it's the funnest.
It's read the small print. Terrible twos. Oh, well, in fairness now, my first niece, she was great. The second, she's a wee Rottweiler, like, she's just a wee madam.
They always say the second one is,
it keeps you young, like, it's
they always say the second one's the worst.
The second one's the worst because the second one's got to elbow their way through and really make their presence known. They're like, oh, I'm here to stay.
Where do you fall in your house?
Well, I'm the baby.
Oh, I thought so.
You would know that, wouldn't you? Like, I'm very, like, princess vibes. Or Kira, she hits me, like, she's just like, I don't claim him. But would you be close with your sister?
Yeah.
Yeah, aye. So family's very much like, and I suppose, like, BPerfect, it is like a family. So family's kind of one of, like, your core values.
Yeah, definitely.
And then, have you thought of baby names?
Yeah. Oh, Tony, like, Tony.
I don't know this, by the way.
Okay, can you bleep it out if I say it?
We can bleep it out, can't? Well, I said no.
No, she'll not be born by then. I think she'll be born by the time this comes out.
No. Oh no, she'll not be born. No.
No. So she'll be nearly born. Yeah. So, so I wanted an Irish name, but Tony was like, see if the teacher can't say the name, like, I don't want an Irish name.
Right.
Where I really liked Korea. Okay. But then he said that sounds like Korea.
Right.
But I love the meaning of it.
I love Korea. But I say Korea.
Do you?
That's how I pronounce it.
It means little heart. I just love the meaning of it. Oh. Yeah. So we're gonna go for.
Right, I'm gonna have to bleep that out.
Yep.
Oh, stop it! Oh, that's a lovely name. Right.
So that's a bit different.
There's a meaning to it. Don't say the meaning of it because
I forget.
I can't be bothered bleeping stuff. Right. Okay. Right. So you've got a name. You're ready to go. And this is going to be the chapter. So this chapter's coming very, very soon.
Yeah, 6 weeks.
6 weeks. Oh my God.
I'm actually leaving in 3.
You're leaving in 3.
Yeah.
And then are you taking how long off? Here we'll go.
6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Yeah.
And then back to work.
I'm going to launch TikTok America over there.
Over there.
So it's actually, strangely, the timing's worked well, as much as I thought, like, having a baby in December, because that's our busiest month. Never matter what month it is, we always make it work.
Yeah.
But I'm working up till the 21st she's due to be here, but we kind of calmed down then.
And then, do you feel like, obviously, like, this is such like a cliche question, but I know, like, I definitely would love to have a family someday, but like, I'm mummy. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, hey, like, soccer mom. Like, are you like the I'm home. Like, what's for dinner? Where's my
No, I don't think. I think
no,
we'll
you
just
aren't
be,
like that. No,
I'll
See, I'm
just
so
be.
stereotypical. I do meet the definition of gay. You really don't like.
Tony's probably gonna step back his career a little bit.
Okay.
He's still gonna work.
Yeah.
But it makes more sense for him to take a bit of a side step.
Okay.
I'll go from 7 days a week to 5.
To 5, right. That's basically a normal working week for most people. Right, okay. So you're now allowing yourself a weekend off. Right, okay. So a lot coming up. Anything else coming up in the company or anything exciting?
Oh God, I can't even think. I think I'm such a baby brain.
Yeah,
so
baby brain. So it's all baby mania. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so that's going to be coming up now 6 weeks.
What's anything happening next year?
Any collabs, anything
Oh.
exciting? Right, do you know what? Well, maybe just bleep that, but it's something very, very exciting. It's a different...
It's a new category.
New category,
Yeah.
right, okay. We've got Emma here. We've got good cop, bad cop. He's an open book. He would say everything. And she's sitting over there. She's like, not ready to announce. Okay, so we're going to play a game. It's called Hot or Not. We do this on each episode. So we're going to
Okay.
talk about something, and then we're going to have a discussion. Hot means we're about it. It's a vibe. We're all for it. Not a vibe. Okay.
Okay.
First one: TikTok shop, like selling tactics. So what I mean by that is, do you ever go, are you, say as a consumer, would you be a fan of like TikTok shop?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
Like the lives, you love the lives, like the QBCS kind of vibe.
I don't really watch any.
No?
I think because we're so in it, it's hard.
You're so
to-
in it, so you're
yeah.
not, you can't maybe look at it as a consumer. Sean, do you do TikTok shop?
I don't really do TikTok, to be
Do you
honest with
not?
No.
Oh.
I feel like it was like the app was weird in my last phone, so
Right.
then I missed the whole big.
And you didn't
not.
jump whenever the train was there, so you just
So-
can't be bothered, like
so now
waiting
I'm not
for
on
another
board.
train to arrive. I get it. Basically, like, have you seen this? So it's kind of like, you know, like I always think, oh, forgive P. Louise, like, hi babe, we need to shop in the P. Louise Empire, and it's like, guys, and it's, but then no tea, no shade, you're guilty of it too. guys, you need to
Go,
buy,
go,
you need to
go.
buy, you need to go. It's gonna sell out, it's gonna sell out, no, quick. And even whenever I've done the TikTok lives, I do it too, and I'm like, honest to fuck, it's like, you don't have to shout. Like, do you know what I
But
mean?
people love it.
Do
It's
that.
kind of like some people don't like it, some people do. But
Yeah.
I always think scroll.
True. That's true, you
You
know.
know, nobody's forcing anybody to watch it. And we have people like literally
Yeah.
tune in every single day to watch
Yeah.
our lives. And it's not for everybody, but
No.
I mean, swipe.
But it's a completely, that's what I mean, it's a
Some
completely
people
different selling
prefer to
tactic,
watch.
isn't it?
Yeah, some people prefer to watch a makeup artist doing a tutorial
Yes,
on Instagram.
yeah.
Some people love the high energy.
yeah.
It's
And
different
something-
strokes, different
yeah.
folks.
And it's kind of like, you know, like with the makeup
I love
demos,
it.
it's
It
more-
reminds me of the early
You
days.
see, I love it. It's very, I know I'm just playing devil's advocate here, but I love the kind of like, it's very, reminds me of, you know, like an auction, like,
Yeah.
now I got this, now go once, going twice, 50, 100, I love that, like, kind of like the adrenaline of that, like, and you know, and I think that, but this is the thing, the selling thing. Whenever I used to work in like a bar in Ianapa, it was that thing, like if a man walked by you and you didn't get him, you're fucked.
I
Like,
actually
and it
think
was like,
our
you went,
live
go,
streams
go.
are the highest in the UK.
Yeah, no, and I love doing them. Like they are so like addictive because you're sitting thinking, and I love that kind of you're walking in, you don't know what you're doing. It's like, well, fuck me, you better like honestly, Sean, it's mental. Like the commission, it's like it's up to you what you make here. So you got to bring your A game, and I love that kind of like, do you know what? Fucking game on, move over, Tyler, bitch, because get ready, because I'm gonna fucking put on a show, and we're gonna get high
So what
commissions.
are we saying? We're saying hot then.
Oh, I'm saying hot. I'm
Hot.
all about it. But I
Um,
see a lot of people being like don't shout, like blah 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 blah, like, and you know a lot of people doing like the P. Louise voice. Like P. Louise gets a bad touch, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Online.
It's-
Will you be friends with her?
Yeah, we chat to her
Yeah,
regularly.
yeah.
But I suppose it's just a topic at the minute, and you know,
Yeah.
people are getting views on their content, so that's why they're talking about it. But she's absolutely smashing it. Like,
Yeah.
she's going through, like, last time I spoke to her, she's going through incredible growth.
Yeah.
Like, so what she's doing is working.
And it is that it's always just people just can't seem to see other people doing well, and they're kind of wanting to nitpick, because you've went through that as well, obviously, like with different things, like the, you know, and that's the thing with like the online world, it can be so fickle. Like people can be all about it, and then the next minute they can just turn on you because it's nearly trendy to be against it. And I find with P. Louise and with big brands that always seems to happen, and then it's like everybody's back up. It's not. It's very like unstable. Do you know what I mean? But you kind of have to just block it out.
Take the rough with the smooth.
Take the rough with the smooth. But we're going to say hot though with it.
Hot, definitely.
I love it.
I think I've got one.
Okay.
As well. So
Okay.
on like the baby name chat, right?
Okay.
So what about, like a lot of creators are sort of guilty of this, making up their own baby names. So like no adding two like names
Oh my God,
together.
T.
That sort of thing.
Yes. So say like Molly May's got Bambi.
Well, Bambi is sort of like okay.
Right.
But it's ones where it's like,
Do you have an example?
I'm trying to think. But like they take like a first half of one name and add it to like a second half of another name.
Like you're kind of like just making up your own name to make it
Making
kind of
up
like
their own
edgy.
name,
Is
it
there a
doesn't
thing
really
on
exist.
TikTok now?
Apparently, yeah. Like, like if you think like most creators, they try to do like say like Rain or Storm or this or like something that's
It
a
was
bit
sort
more
of maybe obscure names.
obscure
just in
names,
general.
maybe.
Well, Emma suggested I call my baby Ocean.
Ocean, did you?
Last year.
And what was the reasoning? And would you call your baby Ocean? No. Aye. She's not. She's out to get you.
She's trying to get me cancelled.
She's a
No, I think Brendan could get away with it.
Ocean.
Oh,
But why
no.
Ocean?
I don't know. I liked it at the time. I've matured.
I can imagine like like maybe like Tiesto or like Lisa Lashes or something a bit more like
On brand.
Aye. What's your thoughts on it?
I'm one of these people. Everybody to their own.
You are very easygoing.
Like it wouldn't be for me to have a crazy name.
Yeah. Well, I am all for. I do love it. Like I always, like, I think if I had a bit, 100%, I would have like a random name. Like
What would yours be?
I think maybe like what? Oh, I wouldn't do Ocean just because I'm not really oceanic. Do you know what I mean? I'm not really about the ocean.
What Tony actually like was Atlas.
Atlas, I love Atlas. Yeah.
Because we love
Atlas.
traveling.
Uh-huh.
Ocean and Atlas. McDowell.
But you know what? I do love, and people are so against it now. But I do think it will make a comeback. I am all about like a stripper name, like Destiny.
I know a Destiny.
Do you? I know
Yeah.
a Destiny too.
Oh, same one from here.
She's
Destiny used to do loads of stuff for us.
Oh, Destiny! Aye,
Yeah.
all right, aye. Oh, shit, aye, Destiny. Yes, Destiny Carlisle. Yes. Oh, right, I thought you were on about... Oh, I know another Destiny. I was like, oh, did we go to the same girl?
What does Destiny do for you?
Oh, pie, well... We got a happy... No, stop, wait, this is slander. We're not on about that Destiny. We do know a girl called Destiny, who is just a gorgeous girl, Destiny from
Yeah, it's
Belfast. She's like a model, isn't
Yeah,
she?
she modeled for us in the early days.
Aye,
Really
but like
nice
Destiny
girl.
would be seen as like not a stripper name, but you know that kind of it's an exotic name. Destiny, Mystique,
Do you want-
Sabrina.
Do you want a shovel? Get
I'm
out of that
just
hole you're in.
fuck off.
Stop adding names.
So right, well I do love a stripper name anyway. Destiny, fuck anyway. Destiny, I'm sorry if you've heard this episode, please don't. Anyway, moving on. Shovel and a spade. We're going to be cancelled day by day each time we release a fucking episode of this fucking podcast. It's going to be the death of me. Right, that's it. You've survived. So we're saying hot. We're all about it. Like pick up
Yeah,
make
each their
your own
own. It's
name.
hot.
Yeah, a name's the name. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then finally, we like to finish an episode with a quote. So something to kind of inspire our listeners.
Mine's is always ask, believe, receive.
Ask, believe. Oh yes, you have that every like
Yeah.
like the
the
walls
end of my bios.
And yes, and what's the reasoning for that? Or where did you?
Whenever
hear that,
I
or-
read The Secret, I always did it. It's like,
Uh-huh.
I suppose when me starting a family, I'll give you an
Right.
example.
Okay.
So whenever I first thought, obviously being in a same-sex relationship, how am I going to have a family? So it was like, right, so I was putting out there, I was asking.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you need to do is receive, like, sorry, believe is starting to believe that you actually have it.
So did you say it the wrong way around there?
Yeah.
Ask, receive, believe. So
Believing.
you don't even know your own fucking quote.
Live, love, laugh.
It's a live, love, laugh. Like it doesn't make sense. This is all becoming a wee bit too home bargains for me. Right, go on ahead.
And then believing that you're doing it. And if you don't ask or believe, it's never going to happen.
I'm confused. So how long from the start, right? So ask, believe, receive.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've said about the ask. You're putting it out into the universe.
And then you're believing that you're going to have a baby or believing that you're going to get the job you're going for. You have to put it in your mind and really believe that you're going to get it, because if you
Visualise
don't,
it.
it's never going to happen. And then receive.
And then it happens.
6 weeks.
Yeah. No, literally. Stop it. I've really... So, Sean, you've never heard Brendan's story before, have you?
No, but I found today very like inspiring. Just even
Yeah.
as a business owner,
Yeah.
like somebody with hopes, dreams,
Yeah.
and stuff like it. It's something I've taken a lot out of.
Yeah, and
listening
it's the thing is it's like and so there's a lot of parts I didn't know about that. Like I didn't know about Salou, or I didn't know about you trying before. I thought this was the first time that you had tried for your family, and I didn't know about, like, I suppose the darkness that kind of led to like the light. But it is so interesting because it really is that, like, started from the bottom. Do you know what I mean? In regards to, like, you know, like you started with nothing, but like what you've built is remarkable. And it's, I think for a lot of people, you know, it's like BPerfect has such like a social presence online, but people don't kind of see how like much of a family like it is. And then I suppose like in regards to like, what would you say, like if you were to give advice to anybody, say wanting to maybe start a career just in general and stuff? Because the thing, this is my observation of it, is like, obviously we've worked together in so many different capacities. I've worked for you in one of your stores, like, you know, we've done different things. I've done the events, and then I've done like the online work, the TikToks and stuff. So I feel sometimes, kind of compared to other creators, I'm more like internal.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I do know a lot of the inside of the brand. I know Margaret and Lorraine and everybody in warehouse and all the different people. I've done different roles and ways. But the thing is, you do give the bite of the apple to anybody if they have the work ethic.
I think some people, whenever they're applying for a job with us, the one thing that they can do wrong is think that's going to be all glam. And at events, and as you've seen, the events are amazing, and it's great to go to them, and we all have fun. We're at the events, but there's so much work goes on behind the scenes. Like,
and you know, that is the funniest part. You see, like, I've helped out with the events and stuff, and say like the trade ones especially, and you see like the setup, and it's funny, like, you know, you're watching all like the creators coming in, like getting their wee goodie bags, being all like, ooh, and then like, it's funny, everybody else is just kind of sitting more like,
what we've
get me a
started doing, I don't know
fucking
if you've
drink, 'cause
seen any of
they didn't see the behind the scenes.
Have you seen any of the vlogs that we've started doing?
No, I haven't seen. I've
so
seen.
Hannah
I've seen
started
it pop
doing
up.
them.
Yes,
and you can really see the before, the after.
The after.
And I think it's good to see, like,
It's good to
show the
see that.
insights. We've actually got a TikTok show coming out soon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So we've recorded, we continued, made it in Belfast on the TikTok.
Oh my God, right.
So you'll see a lot more behind the scenes and the hard work that goes in behind it all.
Okay, so more like an insight into like what is.
When's
like,
that coming out?
When is
Forgot
that
about
coming out?
That upper lips up.
That, so
A few weeks.
yeah, so that's gonna be coming out very
Yeah,
soon then. Yeah.
yeah.
Right. Okay. So people will get to see an insight into BPerfect. We've got so much coming up. This is Black Friday week. We'll get another wee ramen again. Pop my cherry. You got to use that code, guys. Nobody else's code is working on this. Everybody's code is working.
Yours is more.
Mine's is more. Oh, see, I'm just want to make sure that we're all special here. Yes, our listeners matter. Okay, right. So, guys, you will be getting exclusive discounts. Make sure to check out BPerfectCosmetics.com. Brendan, thank you so much.
Thank
It's
you
been
for having
interesting to have you on just to hear like the story behind it.
Yeah, and there's a lot more. Like, I suppose people.
We could talk all day, like,
Yeah.
but
I have to go.
you have. And on that note, so do I. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Brendan, thank you for,
Thanks for having
joining
me.
me on Pop My Cherry. And remember, guys, make sure to subscribe. That's how you keep up to date with upcoming episodes. And make sure to leave us a review on Spotify or give this YouTube video a thumbs up. Thank you, and stay tuned for the next episode. Thank you. Bye.